Okay, cool. Let's start. So we had discussed, we had covered coordinate geometry last time. I think we talked about a bit of, we talked about mensuration, not in great detail, but we had covered, the sort of the basics of mensuration. I shared a couple of sheets that had formulas. If you have doubts, any doubts, I would happily take them at the end of the day today. I'll take those doubts. I will probably also send you more sheets on geometry. I have at least one more sheet that may be relevant, and some other questions that lie on the intersection of a lot of topics, not just geometry. So there are questions on algebra that that may as well have been covered in geometry. There are questions on probability that may have been covered in geometry. As I said, cross-section of topics. So I'll try to forward a sheet probably by tomorrow. I don't have it ready yet, Vinay. So I'll probably try to do it tomorrow. If not tomorrow, then Tuesday, because Mondays is, nobody at Edusha's works, so the person responsible for sharing documents is not available on Monday, so probably Tuesday, which seems the most likely at this moment. Yeah, and that may answer some of the questions raised by some of the students over email, yeah, that document should answer those questions. Nevertheless, if you do have doubts from the material I've shared, I want to take that today and finish it. I want to finish with geometry today, other than the document I shared, and start with ratio and proportion. Is that good? Is this clear? Okay, cool. Okay, then let's get started with the class today. Where is? Okay, okay, let's get started with our main class today, ratio proportion. And let me maybe to begin with also share a couple of documents right at the very beginning that you would need today. Okay, I just shared 3 documents, and I'll talk about them, when necessary. And I also have, I think I mentioned talking about a certain set of documents that may help you with your GMAT preparation. So I'd asked one of my students to, to share those documents on a drive. I've shared the link of this, of the Google Drive. It's a public drive. All of you can go to the drive and download documents, download relevant documents from this link. And of course, it's a useful file. It has many documents that may prove to be of great use. And of course, you can also check with your verbal faculty if the documents. So this link has verbal as well as cont documents. The cont documents, I can assure you, are relevant. Check with your verbal faculty if the verbal content is also relevant. It was relevant or it has been relevant to a number of students that that have taken GMATs. Is that good? Let's start, shall we? So do have a look at this link, guys. Am I audible? There doesn't seem to be any activity. Am I audible? Okay, very good. Excellent. Yeah, cool. Okay, then let's start with ratio and proportion. So yeah, you already have your microphones, microphone access. What do you understand when we talk about ratio? So what is your take from the term ratio? What do you remember from this? When you hear the term ratio, what do you take from the term ratio? Hello. You have microphone access, or you want to mention this in chat, please do. What do you understand by the term ratio? Use for equating two numbers, okay. Use for equating two numbers. How one entity compares with the other, exactly, yes. I don't know if there's a lag, but your answers are coming after a fair bit of time. Comparison, yes, comparison it is. I'm sorry, briefly, we will cover ratio and application of ratios, and we'll talk about the different ways the term proportion is used. There are many different ways in which this term is used, and we are going to talk about that. And of course, we'll talk right now about ratios. Ratio is definitely comparison of quantities. So if A is to B is 3 is to 4, I can also change A is to B and say this is 9 is to 12, yes. If A is to B is 3 is to 4, can I not multiply both ratios by 3 to get 9 and 12? Yeah. I could also, if I had to move out of comparison and into numbers and into quantities, quantification, then I could have taken A to be 3K, and when A is 3K, B would come out to be 4K, where K is just some multiplier. K is just some number, some real number. It could have been a decimal, for all we know. It could have been a whole number. It could have been a natural number. We don't know. But yeah, if A is to B is 3 is to 4, you can definitely quantify or make an equation using A is equal to 3K and B is equal to 3K is equal to 4K. And if the total of this is A plus B, so if the total is just these two quantities A and B together, then you can of course say that the total is actually 7K. Yeah, A plus B, 3K plus 4K, A becomes 7K. So A out of total becomes 3 by 7 and B out of total becomes 4 by 7. I guess this is simple enough. This is clear. Okay. So if this is clear, why don't you solve this simple question? Please solve this simple question. If A and B share profits in the ratio 3 is to 4, and the total profit at the end of the year is rupees 23,100, then the difference between their share must be how much? Absolutely. It is 3,300. Is everybody clear with this? It's very simple. It is absolutely 3,300 without a shadow of doubt. Yes, indeed, indeed. Because of course, if A and B are in the ratio 3 is to 4, then I can take A as 3K, B as 4K, which means total comes out to be 7K. And the difference between B and A, between 4K and 3K, is K. 4K minus 3K is equal to K. And since 7K or total is 23,100, So, assuming A's share as 3K, B's share as 4K, total 7K is 2300, K is 1 by 7 of 23,100. So K is 1/7 of 23,100. Without a shadow of doubt, it is 3,300. Yeah, is this clear? So, very simple question. What about these two? What about this one, the first one in the slide? If A is to B is 1 by 3 is to 1 by 4, what is the ratio of A is to B in proper whole numbers? 4 is to 3 indeed. Yeah, you would have multiplied this by 12, even though this is very simple. You would have multiplied this by 12, and got your answer, because you just saw. I mean, if A is to B is 1 by 3 is to 1 by 4, there is absolutely no problem in multiplying these two numbers with another whole number. And of course, if you want to convert it to integers, into natural numbers, multiply both of them by 12, which is the LCM of 3 and 12. So you get 4 is to 3. And the same way, if I were to ask you, if A is to B is to C is 1 by 4 is to 1 by 6 is to 1 by 15, then what is A is to B is to C in proper numbers and whole numbers? If A is to B is to C is 1 by 4 is to 1 by 6 into 1 by 15. How should I go about it? 15 is to 20 is to 28. Oh, sorry. I guess I haven't shared my screen. I have shared my whiteboard. I'm talking about this question. It's not 15 is to 28 is to 2 is to 28, 60. Yeah, you multiply it with 60, so they're absolutely correct. So here, multiply the each ratio by 60, and you get A is to B is to C is 15 is to 10 is to 12. And since nothing is common in all three, is to 4, sorry, yeah, is to 4. Since nothing is common in all three, you cannot reduce it any further. This is the simplest form. 15 is to 10 is to 4. When we say A is to B is 3 is to 4, we could obviously also have said 6 is to 8. But we generally express ratio in its simplest form. And here, 15 is to 10 is to 4 is the simplest form. Okay, 15 is to 10 is to 4, yeah. So, what about question number 2 here, the one below? If A is to B is 3 is to 4 and B is to C is 5 is to 7, then A is to B is to C is what? What would you say A is to B is to C is? Yes. Come on, was it you who had answered this question earlier? No, it was Krishna. Absolutely, 15 to 20 to 28. And I guess you've got a hang with this already, most of you. Yeah, since B is common in both, and B in the first ratio is to B has 4 parts, and in the second ratio it has 5 parts. Multiply the two ratios by, or convert the two ratios to get the LCM of 4 and 5, which means changing three is to 4 and B is to C was 5 is to 7. Change this, since B is common. So the common B will help you make a bridge between A and C, and convert 4 and 5 into 20, both into 20, by multiplying both these values in A and B with 5, and by multiplying both the values in B and C with 4. So A is to B becomes 15 is to 20, and B is to C becomes, of course, again 20, which was the idea of changing this, is to 20A. And since B is 20 in both parts, you can directly compare A and C and say that A is to B is to C must be 15 is to 20 is to 28. I hope this is clear. This is simple and clear. Yeah. Okay, very good. So what about this question, guys? If you understood it, could you solve this question? Very, very simple and very related to the question you just said. Can you solve this question, please? Oh, of course. I have to. I have changed. What would you say is the answer to this question? Six is to 8 is to 15, Vinay. Does that not sound unlikely? A is to B is to C, 6 is to 8 is to 15. Definitely not, guys. 60 is to 45 is to 24. Can that be simplified, Sandhya? Can that be simplified? Then please do. Please do simplify it. Yes, indeed, Krishna. Okay. For those who were saying 6 is to 8 is to 5, why this isn't 6 is to 8 is to 5, and how to solve or approach most of such questions, the majority of such questions. So you have been given 6 times A salary is 8 times B salary. I guess it was 15 times C salary, wasn't it? This is very, very similar to the question we just done, in which, A is to B is to C was 1 by something is to 1 by something. I cleared the board, but yeah, on the board, we've done a question. And it is similar because if I were to assume all three are equal to K, 6 times A salary, 8 times B's, or 15 times C salary, this is equal to K, then of course I get A is equal to K by 6, B is equal to K by 8, and C is equal to K by 15. And therefore A is to B is to C becomes K by 6 is to K by 8 is to K by 15. And since K will, you can cancel out K. From here I could have obviously cancelled out K and taken this, the ratio to be 1 by 6 is to 1 by 8 is to 1 by 15. And like we just discussed, multiply these three ratios with the LCM of 6, 8, 15, or multiply it with some number to make sure the denominators disappear, they become 1, and here that is 120. And I would have got A is to B is to C as 20 is to 15 is to 8. Yeah. I could also, on the other hand, have directly taken K here to be 120. Or 120x if you feel uncomfortable taking a value, you can take this to be 120x. X is some number, some real number. Because then again, A would have become 120x by 6, 20x. B would have become 15x. C would have become 8x. You would have got the exact same ratio. The answer is obviously not going to change. Whether you take 120 or whether you take 120x or whether you take k, it's all the same. Yeah, is this clear? Simple enough, guys? Okay. Yeah. Let's go back to our slide 52. So yeah, let's now start applying the concept of ratios. And one of the important concepts is partnership. When 2 or 3 people enter into a business together and share profits and share return. Could you tell me the answer to question to part 1 of this question on your screen? A and B start a business. In what ratio will they share returns or profit if A invested 3,000 and B invested 4,000? What will be the answer to part 1, guys? Doesn't look like a very difficult question. Think about it. Yeah, 2 people come in with 3,000 and 4,000 rupees to start a business. In what ratio will they divide? Obviously, 3:4. What about question number 2 or question part 2? A works for 6 months, B works for 6 months. They don't have any money. They're broke. They start a business. The 2 work for different time periods, for different periods of time. In what ratio will they share profits? Has to be 6:8, 3:4 again in part 2. Yeah. What about part number 3? Question 3. What about part 3? A invests 3,000 and works for 6 months. B invests 4,000 and works for 8 months. In what ratio will they share profits? One is to 1, my dear God. Why, Umesh? That seems like a golden deal. I mean, let me invest less money and work less and still enjoy the same benefit as the other. Obviously not. A is investing less amount, working for less period of time. There is no way the answer can be 1 is to 1, I'm afraid. Yes, indeed, it's you'll multiply both because of this. So in general, the ratio of return is always the ratio of the amount. So ratio of amount invested into time work, or not just time work. It could also be the time for which the amount is invested. What do I mean by that? Here, the profit enjoyed by A divided by the profit enjoyed by B will be 3,000 into 6, because that fellow is working for 6 months, divided by 4,000 into 8. Yeah, and which comes out to be 9/16. Most of you are absolutely right. I could also change this question slightly here. Going back to the question, instead of saying that A invested rupees 3,000 and worked for 6 months, I could have simply said A invested rupees 3,000 for 6 months, while B invested rupees 4,000 for 8 months. And the calculation for this would have been exactly the same. 3,000 into 6 divided by 4,000 into 8. And that is the concept. The ratio of profits enjoyed will always be amount invested into time for which the amount was invested, or for which some work was invested, divided by the amount invested into time for the other person. Yeah. Is this clear? Is this simple? Is this something that you understood, guys? Okay. So why don't we have a look at the class sheet? Please have a look at the class sheet. I guess I've already shared the class sheet with you. I just shared the class sheet with you. I would want you to have a look at question number 1. In fact, question 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 and 8. Please start with question 1, then 2, 3, 4, 5, and 8. I'll write that in the chat column as well. And there is a small change in question 1, just to make it absolutely clear. In question 1, income of A is to income of B is 3 is to 2. Expenditure of A is to expenditure of B is 5 is to 3. While the savings for each, this is not both, savings enjoyed by each, savings enjoyed by A as well as B is rupees 2000. In such a scenario, what will the income of B be? Is this clear? This is what you have to answer. Do you remember that in question 1? Please solve question 1, 2, 3. That may be correct, Krishna, indeed. I would appreciate if you guys can solve questions first and then share your answers. Solve all of them and then share answers. That would help the others as well. That's nice. Yeah, I would welcome some answers now. Question number 2. So answers to question 2, guys. Okay, question number 3. Sorry. I just realized this is the old document, old version. A, B, and C are angles of a triangle. A, B, and C are angles in a triangle. In triangle ABC, basically. Okay, good, Lakshay. Will not deny or confirm your answers. Take another minute to finish them if possible, and then we'll discuss, of course. Take not more than a couple of minutes. (126°). I don't think there is any question that has this answer. Channa, I don't know which question you're referring to, but 126 is definitely not the answer to any question. No, it's not. This in any case is saying each angle. What is each angle equal to? So what is angle A? What is angle B? What is angle C? Neither of them equal 126°. So please check. Indeed, Kamal, A is right. The answer to 8 is absolutely correct. Okay, time's up, guys. No, Soundarya, the answer to question number 1 is Lakshay's answer is correct. It is 8,000. Yes, indeed, Chandana. Okay, which questions do you have a problem with? Let me know. Which questions do you have a problem with? First, any other guys? Please mention in the chat, in group chat. Fourth, okay. Any other? Okay, cool. I will discuss 5 as well, because 5 has something interesting that I want to, sort of ensure that you don't miss. So let's start question number one. The ratios of income are given, the ratio of expenditure are given, and the savings for both A and B equal rupees 2,000. What is the income of B? Let's go to the whiteboard. So, one thing is clear. Question one. Income of A and income of B is to income of B has been given. 3:2. So this is 3:2. Can I not say that income of A is 3x and income of B is equal to 2x? Yeah. Similarly, if expenditure of A is to expenditure of B is given to be 5:3, I can easily say that expenditure of A is 5y, then the expenditure of B is 3y. Yeah. Now this is also the reason why I want to discuss one. Income, the ratio of incomes and the ratio of expenditures, their multipliers will have to be different, may have to be different at least. I mean, we can't assume they'll be the same. So, we'll have to multiply 3 and 2 with x, both with x, and 5 and 3 with y. I can't just multiply them both with x because I can't assume what their multiplier is going to be. So what I need to multiply 3 and 2 to get the income value, or what I need to multiply 5 and 3 to get the expenditure value. What I do know in general is that saving in general is nothing but income minus expenditure. And thus saving for A, which is 2,000, is income, which is 3x for A, minus expenditure, which is 5y, and saving for B, which also happens to be 2,000, is income of B 2x minus expenditure of B 3y. So you can solve this in many ways. You can either just equate 3x minus 5y equal to 2x minus 3y, or solve this using linear equations. You could have done this. It's very simple. 3x minus 5y is equal to 2x minus 3y. What do you get? You get x is equal to 2y. You get x is equal to 2y and put that into equation number 1, and you get y is equal to 2,000. And x is equal to 4,000. Use these values and you can calculate the income of B. Income of B was 2x. So 2x has to be 8,000. So income of B comes out to be 2 into 4,000, 8,000. Is this clear, guys? Yeah. Whoever had Chandana, you had a problem with this. I hope this is clear. And I think someone else also got their answer correct. Soundarya, please check this. I don't know where you made a mistake in terms of the calculation part, but yeah, the answer is for sure 8,000. Question number 4. In question, okay, I had mentioned this specifically, Chandana, that the savings for each was 2,000. Okay, Sandhya, it's okay. Be careful in the future. Okay. Question 4. A began a business in January with rupees 900 and was joined by B with rupees 600. If the final profit at the end of December was in the ratio 2:1, when did B join? What is implicit in this question is that B did not join in January. B joined after January. And since the ratio of profit enjoyed by A and B is in the ratio 2:1, 2 by 1, this ratio must be equal to investment of A 900 into time for which it was invested, which happens to be 12 months. If you read the question again, it says A began a business in January, and what is the profit at the end of December? So we have to assume here that A has invested 900 rupees for 12 months, while B has invested 600 rupees for some time T. T we don't know, but using this we can calculate. So this is going to, you can calculate this, very simple. T will come out to be 9 months. Yeah. And if T is going to be 9 months, of course, B must have joined after 3 months. So January, Feb, March over, B must have joined in April. Beginning April. Yeah. Okay, cool. Any other doubt, guys? 8, of course, is simple. 5, the reason I want to discuss 5 is that in this question, just go back. In this question, and in all such questions, I've been given milk is to water. Is in the ratio 4:1 in a 40-liter sort of vessel, in a 40-liter solution, and I'm only adding water now. Let's say I add X liters water. And the result I get is, of course, 40 plus X liters of milk is to water solution, that is 8:5. Yeah, that is in ratio 8:5. What I want you to do in all such questions, and I'll throw more such questions at you. What I want you to do is, in all questions here, equate what is constant on the left-hand side with what, with the quantity constant on the left, which means here, since milk hasn't changed. This is M, this is Z. Since milk hasn't changed in quantity, may have changed in concentration. Equate the quantity of milk here with the quantity of milk here, which means since milk was 4 out of 5 times 40, out of a total of 5 pots, 4 were milk, which means 4 out of 5 into 40 was the milk quantity. This must be equal to 8 out of 13. 8:5 was the final ratio. 8 out of 13 into 40 plus X. So do this, equate this comes out to be 32 is equal to 8/13 into 40 plus X, and X will immediately come out to be 12. So 12 liters of water was added later. Yeah. So just keep this in mind. Equate the constant quantity. I mean, finally and initially, equate that. Okay, cool. Let's power ahead. Let's move ahead. I guess we've covered this. We hadn't covered this, of course. Yeah, we'll see more questions on ratios and more applications of ratios, but I also want to introduce the term proportion. Now, the way proportion as a term, incorrect spellings. The way proportion as a term is used is in point number 1, the way it is used in point number 1. Ratios being proportional. So we say A is to B is proportional to C is to D. In fact, if you were to go back to my first slide, my title slide sort of for this presentation, for this PPT, A is to B is proportional to C is to D. This is what it means. And this essentially means that A by B is equal to C by D. That is what proportion means. when talking about two different ratios. Yeah. So yeah. So if A by B as a ratio is equal to C by D is equal to E by F, this also means K1A plus K2C plus K3E whole divided by K1B plus K2D plus K3F is also equal to the following ratio, which means if I were to say, let's take an example. Let's do a question. Say if let's just take the same value. A by B is equal to C by D is equal to E by F is equal to 3 by 5. Yeah. And can you tell me what the value of 5A minus 7C plus 2E upon 2F plus 5B minus 7D? What is this going to be in value? This is question number 1. Question number 2. What is 2A square plus 3C square plus E square upon, this is E, F square plus 2B square plus 3D square going to be? Guys, answers? Any answers to 1 and 2? One can't be 0. Oh God, it is not 0 here. Here it can't be 0. Yeah. There is no way the values of A, C, and E are going to, work in a way that, irrespective of the actual values of A, B, C, D, E, F, neither 1 nor 2 can be 0. And we'll see that right now. 1 is 3 by 5. Why is 1 3 by 5? Apart from, of course, the fact that we just shared. Yeah. So 1 is 3 by 5 because, and 9 by 25, absolutely correct. 2 is 9 by 25. Because I could simply have replaced in the numerator A, C, and E and said A is equal to 3 by 5B. Just look at the initial equation. A I can say is 3 by 5B. C I can say is 3 by 5D. E I can say is 3 by 5F. Yes, indeed. Yeah, indeed. So just use this in question number 1, and everything will sort of fall into place. I want to do this once because I want you to remember this. I don't want you to solve in the exam situation. So if you remember this, it will help. So 5 times A is 5 times 3 by 5 into B, minus 7 times C is 3 by 5 into D, plus 2 times E is 3 by 5 into F, upon, of course, just writing it in the same order, 5B minus 7D plus 2F. And this comes out to, if you take 3 by 5 common from the numerator, you get 5B minus 7D plus 2F, which is exactly the same as the denominator, 5B minus 7D plus 2F. And of course, then this thing is going to cancel out with this thing, and you'll be left with your final answer, 3 by 5. And that is so, because this is so, and what you must remember is, if the coefficient of A here is 5, the coefficient of B is also 5, then of C is minus 7, of D is also minus 7, of E it is plus 2, F also plus 2. And we are, of course, comparing A is to B, and C is to D, and E is to F, equal to 3 by 5. then in all such cases, in question on part 1, the answer will finally be 3 by 5. Even if I were to replace 5a and 5b with, I don't know, 10a and 10b. So if the numerator were 10a and in the denominator instead of 5b it were 10b, you would still have got 3 by 5. It wouldn't have made any difference. Yeah. And in question number 2, yes, Krishna, please go ahead. A is 1. So, Krishna, if this is 0 by 0, if that is what you're saying, if you're saying this is 0 by 0, you know, that is of course not defined. Anything divided by 0 is not defined. So the reason I said this is 3 by 5 is because you can sort of cut 5b minus 7b 2f in the numerator as well as the denominator. They're the same quantities, and therefore you can cancel them out. That is obviously based on the assumption that your denominator is not equal to 0, and thus your numerator is not equal to 0. If your numerator comes out to be 0, your denominator will also be. So that is an assumption we make without a shadow of doubt. In such a question, you will not find the answer cannot be determined or not defined. You will not find the answer. There is no chance. Yeah? I hope that answers your question. Because you can completely cancel them out. 3 by 5 is an absolutely valid answer. Okay. In 2, you need to do exactly the same thing that we did here. Keep A as 3 by 5, or rather here. Put A equal to 3 by 5, B is equal to 3 by 5, D equal to 3 by 5F. And you will realize the answer is just because you have squares of everything, the answer will simply be 3 by 5 ka whole square. The whole square of 3 by 5, which of course is 9 by 25. Yeah. I hope this is clear. I hope all this is clear. Till now it's clear. And of course, talking about continued proportion, which is another application or usage of the term proportion. If the question says A, B, and C are in continued proportion, it essentially means that A, B, and C are in GP. What does that look like? Let's go back to the board. So, another sort of application is A, B, C, D, E, and so on are in continued proportion. This essentially means A by B is going to be equal to B by C, is going to be equal to C by D, is it going to be equal to E by F or E by whatever, and so on. That is what this ratio is going to be. This is what continued proportion essentially means. Yeah. Now, a special case. If only 3 quantities have been given, the question says A, B, and C are in continued proportion. Then A is known as the mean proportional. When you're talking about 3 quantities, then B is known as the mean proportional, C is known as the third proportional, and A is known as the first proportional. And of course, the relation between A, B, and C remains, as the one given above. A by B remains B by C. This is also something you may remember. This you may remember from GP, if you remember any part of GP. GP geometric progression. A by B is B by C. B is our geometric mean. And of course, B square comes out to be A into C. or B comes out to be under root AC. Yeah. So these are two fairly common usages of the term proportion. And the third common usage is, let's go back to the slide, the term directly proportional. A is directly proportional to B. Yeah, so this is directly proportional. A is directly proportional to B, which simply means that A is equal to some constant into B. Which means, in other words, if I move B to the other side, A by B has to be a constant. When two quantities are directly proportional to each other, then their ratio is a constant. Yes, and therefore I can say, since the ratio is a constant, the ratio of these two variables A and B, I can say A1 by B1 has to be equal to A2 by B2. Yeah, I would also have seen this as A1 by A2 is equal to B1 by B2. I could also have seen it like this. Is the same. A1 and A2 Vinay are two values of the variable, two different values of the variable. Let me give you an example. Say a question says, and of course this again is something relatable, distance is directly proportional to speed. Yeah. So if distance is directly proportional to speed, what you are essentially saying is that the ratio of distance by speed is constant, which means that distance covered in instance 1 divided by speed covered in instance 1 must have been or must be equal to distance in instance 2 upon speed in instance 2. Which means, say, if I'm traveling for the same time, if I'm traveling for say X number of hours, and I cover 100 kilometers the first time at the speed of 20 kilometers per hour, and I travel X hours again, covering 150 kilometers, then what would be my speed? What will be my speed in the second scenario? So here, if I'm traveling for the same amount of time, or if the question says distance is directly proportional to speed, that's all it says, then you can say for sure 100 by 20, this ratio in instance 1 must be equal to 150 by S. Yeah, 30 km per hour, of course. S comes out to be 30. Does this answer your question, Vinay? Is this clear? Okay, cool. And of course, when two quantities are actually proportional to each other, the ratios in two instances of one of the variables will be equal to the ratio of the two variables in two different instances. They have to be equal. Whereas when they are inversely proportional to each other, when A is inversely proportional to B, it means A is equal to some constant divided by B, which means the product of those two variables A and B is going to be a constant. Which means, if I have two different values in two different instances for both variables, then their product A1 into B1 will be equal to A2 into B2. Yeah. So an example here could have been, of course, if speed is inversely proportional to time, and then I can give you values of speed and time, then maybe calculating would help. Then you can calculate rather. Is this clear? Okay. I want you to try question now. From practice set ratio and proportion that I had shared with you. and that is on your screen again. I'd shared practice set 1, ratio proportion, R and P practice set 1. I do want you to try the following questions. Let me write that in the group chat. I want you to try question number 1, question number 3, question number 4, and also question number 6. Question 1, 3, 4, and 6. Okay, try this question as well. The question on your screen in the presentation in the PPT. Please try this question as well. Okay, it's not on your screen. On your screen now, sorry. Yeah. So guys, what's the answer to this question on your screen? %, I don't think is the right answer, Chano. %48.9% is the right answer indeed, Anubhav. Good. And also, Anubhav, why haven't you logged in with your full name? Why haven't you logged in with your full name, Anubhav? Please don't do that in future. Yeah. So this is not something we encourage or even allow. So please do ensure that in future you log in with your full name. If you want to change the settings and do whatever you want to do, please do. But please don't forget to log in with your full name. So you need to go to the settings, I think, somewhere and change. I think you'll find the answer to your problem in the FAQs of the zoom.us or zoom.in page. Yeah, so please do change that. It is 48.9%, and let's get started. Let's discuss. The questions that we have in front of us. But by I guess starting with this very question, any problem in the question, in the question on the slide on the PPT? Any problem with this question, guys? Okay. So So what we have been Chandna. What we have been given is a diamond has broken into two parts, which are in the ratio 3:4, and the value of the diamond is directly proportional to the square of its weight. Can I just say here, therefore, so I had some diamond that has now broken into three parts whose weight are in the ratio 3:4. Let me say their weight now is 3x and 4x, which obviously means that the weight of the diamond initially must have been 7x, going backwards from the two pieces, taking their weight as 3 and 4x, and then taking the total weight of the diamond to be 7x. I can say for sure the initial value of the diamond must have been, what we have been given is the initial value, the value of a diamond is directly proportional to the square of its weight, which means the value is equal to some constant into the square of weight, which means the initial value is equal to some constant into weight is 7x ka whole square. Yeah. And the final value of the two pieces must be, of course, the values of the two pieces. The value of the piece that has weight 3x must be k into 3x ka whole square, and the value of the v that is of weight 4x must be k into 4x ka whole square. Yeah. So initial value must have been 49 x square k. Final value must have been 9 plus 16, 25 x square k. Can you not calculate the decrease in value from 49 to 25? Percentage difference, or for that matter, percentage decrease is equal to the actual value of decrease from 49 to 25. The value of decrease is 25 x square k upon the reference quantity. Since we're talking about decrease, the reference will be the initial quantity. So 24 x square k by 49 x square k, and of course this x square k had to cancel. 24 by 49 into 100, this does come out to be around 49%. I would have accepted an answer of 49%, as would I guess GMAT in such a scenario. Yeah. So I hope that answers or solves the query of whoever had a problem with this question. And now let's go back to this sheet. Which question did you have a problem with? Were you able to solve question number 1? Were you able to solve question 1? 1 and 3. So you had a problem with 4. Or do you have problems in 1 and 3, Krishna? Problem with 3 and 6. I guess I need to discuss all of them. 4, please explain. Okay. Question number 1. The first thing I want you to tell me about question 1 is, oops. What does this mean? What would this be equal to? What does this actually mean? X, and the root is x to the power 1 by 5, exactly. So if in our question there is power 2 by 3 and then some quantity, and then let's say that quantity is x, whatever the expression is, this actually means x to the power 3 by 2, not 2 by 3. Yeah, 5 becomes 1 by 5, 2 by 3 becomes 3 by 2. I hope this is clear. We always write root x as x to the power 1 by 2, or cube root of x as this. Okay. So the expression, what x here was 5a to the power 4 minus 13c4. If you have a look, we had covered this, we had covered this in slides. Let me just go back to the PPT. Here, I guess. Here, yeah. You know, I also had given you a question in which you had k1a square and then k2c square and then k3e square. And of course, all the values just squared. They become, the whole square. In this practice set question number 1, power 4 has been given to, each variable or each of the symbols. And the very important also is that the coefficient of a and b is both 5. A to the power 4, b to the power 4, the coefficient is 5. C to the power 4 and d to the power 4, the coefficient is minus 13. And e to the power 4 and f to the power 4 again, the coefficient is plus 2. So you have you have consistent coefficients in the numerator and the denominator. And therefore, this is going to be x here was, I'm not going to write the whole expression, but since the value of the original ratio was 2 by 5, this is simply going to be 2 by 5 whole to the power 4 to the power 3 by 2. This is what the value is going to come out to be, which is of course 2 to the power 5. 4 into 3 by 2 is 2 to the power 5, 2 to the power 6. Which is, of course, you can calculate this or you can keep it as it is. Depends on the option. This is the right answer. Is this clear? I'm not writing the whole expression or the question. Okay, cool. Question number 3. Question number 3 is special for 2 reasons. And the reason I had shared question 3 is because there's a particular way of doing these questions. A by b plus c is b by c plus a is equal to c by a plus b. Of course, if you keep a equal to b equal to c here, you'll immediately realize that k definitely has to be 1 by 2. What is not so clear is why k has to be minus 1 or why k can be minus 1. And that will become clear from the solution. And I want you to remember this because this is a type of question. What was the question number? This question number was 3. The question number in which a by b plus c is b by c plus a is c by a plus b. So just showing you the solution once. Simplify this and just add 1 to each. So let me write here. Let me add 1 to each of the 3 values. So if I had this equal to k, also add 1 to this. What I get from here is when I add 1, I'll get in each case a plus b plus c. If a by b plus c and you add 1, you get a plus b plus c upon b plus c. You get b plus c plus a, which again is a plus b plus c upon c plus a, and c plus a plus b upon a plus b, which is equal to k plus 1. Yeah. Let me just take up 2 of them. Yeah, 2 here. I taken 1 and 2. This is 1. This is 2. If I just equate them, I get a plus b plus c upon b plus c. So I've taken 1 by b plus c here, and I've taken 2 on the left hand side. Subtract this, and I get 1 by c plus a. A plus b plus c is common, and both take that out. You get 1 by b plus c minus 1 by c plus a is equal to 0. And of course, this means a plus b plus c into c plus a minus b minus b minus c is equal to 0. C of course cancels out. You get a plus b plus c into a minus b is equal to 0. Yeah, I've just compared 1 and 2 here. What does this tell me? What does the result tell me? What can I conclude? I can conclude that either a plus b plus c is 0, or a is equal to b. Yeah. If you put a equal to b in the original equation, you will get a is equal to b equal to c. If you put this back, so let's say this is result 1, this is result 2. If you put a equal to b in the original equation, you'll get a is equal to b is equal to c. Yeah. And of course, from 2, sorry, I've run out of space. Let me do it here. From 2, you will get k is equal to 1 by 2 from second conclusion. But from conclusion number 1, focus here. What do you get from conclusion number 1? If a plus b plus c is 0, then k plus 1 is 0. And of course, if k plus 1 is 0, k is equal to minus 1. Yeah. So do remember this, and what I specifically want you to remember here is, in all such questions, try to either get the same numerator or the same denominator. And I've got the same numerator here by adding 1 to each. I've added 1 to all the 4 sides. Yeah, is this clear? This is a good question, a special question, a type of question. And there is no way you can get the answer to this than by solving. There is no way hit and trial would work here, I'm afraid. So your answer, of course, is option C. The answer to question 3 is option C. Yeah, is this clear? Let's move to question number 4. Let's pick up speed as well. 4 is not about some extraordinary sense of of aptitude. It's actually a little bit of work. You need to work in question number 4 to get PQR by STU, what the value of this is going to be. And the way you can do this question is, of course, can I solve this any other way? Yeah. So the way you can do this is one of the short ways is, let me share the document with you again. Okay, what just happened? Yeah, sorry. So, so P by Q is 1 by 3, Q by R is 2, R by S is 1 by 2, S by T is given, T by U is given. Start by assuming something here. Start by assuming some quantity. You could have started, the opposite way, in the sense that you can either start by assuming U is equal to 4 or 4x, and then get the values of all quantities, and you'll get that immediately. Or start by assuming P is 1 or P is 1x. Yeah, and then you get the values of all quantities, which will help you then calculate PQR by STU. So to very briefly make you understand what that means, if I take P as x, the equation tells me that Q must be 3x. The expression tells me. It also tells me that R is 1.5x. Just calculating each step based on what you have in front of you. It also tells you S is equal to 3x, which is also equal to Q. It then tells you P is equal to x. And finally, that U is equal to 4x. So PQR by STU becomes x into 3x into 1.5x, which by the way is 3 by 2x, upon s, which is again 3x, into t is x, u is 4x. Calculate this. It's not very difficult. 3x, 3x, x cancel out. X, of course, cancel out again. 3 by 8. You'll get immediately. Yeah, is this clear? This seems like a difficult question, but it's not as difficult. It's not really very difficult. Okay. What about question number 6? I heard someone had a problem with question 6. Ram and Shyam enter into a partnership. R invests 16,000 for 8 months and S invests for 4 months only, but claims 2/7 of the profit. S must have invested what amount? What amount must S have invested? This is very, very similar to the question we done earlier, in which the profit or the return enjoyed by Ram and Shyam here. So return enjoyed by Ram upon return enjoyed by Shyam has been given clearly to be 2/7. 2/7 must be the return enjoyed, the ratio of return enjoyed has to be, we've discussed this, amount invested by Ram into the time for which it was invested. So 16,000 invested for 8 months, so 16,000 into 8 upon Shyam's investment, which is for 4 months. But amount, of course, we don't know. Let's call it investment by Shyam IS. Now, how difficult is this to solve? You only need to solve this, that's all. So IS will, of course, come out to be, simplify this. This is 2 cancel out. IS is 16K into 7, which is, of course, 112K. Yeah, is this clear? I think some people have a problem with this. Let me know if this question is clear, guys. Is 6 clear? And what is the problem you have with 6, Vinay? Sure. So, going back to the question here, was it 2/5? Oh, yes. It's yeah, 2/7 of the profit. Sorry. I read that in a hurry. And I missed that. You're absolutely right. It's not 2/7, it's 2/5. It is not 2/7, so of course it's not. This is 2/5. So let me just. And it is Ram, isn't it? Yeah, so I've. Yeah. Sorry. So I've got this horribly wrong. So if Shyam is enjoying 2/7 of the profit, it means the return enjoyed by Shyam upon return enjoyed by Ram is 2/5. Because if Shyam is getting 2/7 of the profit, Ram must be giving 5/7 of the total profit. Yeah, so 2/5 must be investment done by Shyam for 4 months upon investment done by Ram, which happens to be 16,000. Let me just write it as 16K. Into was it 7 months? For 8 months, into 8, so you can calculate now. Yeah, you can calculate now. So of course this is 2 32 investment done by Sham must be 64,000 by 5, which is of course 12,800, 12.8K. Yeah, I hope this is clear, Vinay. Sorry, Saundarya, 8. Sorry, what is 8, Saundarya? Yeah, okay, yeah. Okay, cool. I hope the basics we have discovered, we've discussed today is enough, it's clear. I would want you to try the other questions, and I will again send another sheet with the questions on coordinate and the others that I discussed on Tuesday. I guess Tuesday looks like the most likely date. I'll send it by Tuesday, and we can, of course, you can finish it. You can try those questions, and we can discuss it. Those questions or any problems next week, or sometime in the near future. I would want to quickly take doubts if you have any doubts from geometry now. If you have any doubts from geometry, I would like to take them now. So let me know if you have any doubts, else we wrap up the session. Okay, Vinay. We'll take it in a few minutes. Sorry. Please feel free to use the microphone, guys. So if someone has a doubt, please ask them now. If you don't have any doubt, feel free to leave. If you have any doubt about today's class, I would want to take that first of all. Okay, search for them quickly, Vinay. And of course, I'm talking about doubts from the sheets I had shared. M1, okay, question 1 and 2. Are these the questions you're talking about, Vinay? Let me share my screen with you. Is this the question 1 and the question 2 you're talking about? Okay. And therefore, question 8, 11, 14 must be these questions. Yeah. Okay. Okay, quickly giving you hints on some fairly simple questions. Some of the simple ones. Question 14. A rectangle of dimensions has been given, 36 into 24. It's punctured by a drill of diameter 21. What is the area of the remaining portion? Of course, the area of the remaining portion is going to be the area of the rectangle, which is 36 into 24. minus the area of the circle, which is going to be pi r square. R, of course, is 21/2. So 10.5, let me just write 10.5 ka square. It's that simple. This is the answer to question 14, without a shadow of doubt. Yeah, and of course you can take pi as 22/7, and I'm sure that that's going to give you a proper value because 21 is a multiple of 7. Yeah, okay. 11 is again very similar. An iron washer is made by cutting out from a circular plate of radius 4 a concentric plate of radius 2. So this is pi r, capital R square minus small r square. So the idea here is you have a larger circle from which you are cutting out a smaller circle. Yeah. You took it as a cylinder. No, so Vinay, in question 14, of course, you've only been given 2 dimensions. It's centimeter square. It clearly mentions a rectangle. A rectangle is a 2D figure. So it doesn't make sense to assume a cylinder because it doesn't have a 3rd dimension, doesn't have height. This is a plane figure. And in question 11, again, this is a plane figure. From a circular plate, you've cut out a circular plate. The answer is pi capital R square. So pi 4 square minus pi 2 square. It's very simple and very direct. Yeah. Yeah, question that sends you back to question number 8. Well, so question 8. A horse is tied at one corner of a square field with rope 21 centimeter. Side of the square field is 10 centimeter. If the horse is not allowed to graze from the square field, how much area can it graze? Very simple question again. The whole area, so if a rope of 21 centimeter is tied, if you were to visualize this through a diagram, so say I draw a square field of, I don't remember the dimensions. What was the dimensions? Yeah, so the dimensions were the rope is 21 centimeters, square field is 10 centimeters. Yeah, so this is 10 centimeter and the rope that is tied is 21 centimeter. More than double. So of course the horse is going to have, this area. In a radius of 21, it can cover the whole circle sort of. I mean, if we do not talk about the square field, ignore the square field, the horse would have area pi 21 a whole square. This is the area the horse would have, but since it is not allowed inside this shaded portion, the square field, taking away the area of the square field, which is 10 square, this should give me my answer. This should give me the area that is available for the horse to graze. Very, very simple question. I'm sure this must be the answer. Yeah, pi 21 square. It's okay, what about the other questions? Question 1 and 2. Question 1 and 2. Let's tackle question 1 and 2. Question 1. Sorry, last part again. So all I'm saying is from the whole circle that is available for grazing. I mean, imagine a rope being tied, and you can cover the area that is made by a circle with the length of the rope as the radius. The length of the rope will act as a radius, and then the horse has available area to roam or to graze with a circle, which is pi 21 square. And from that, you have a small square field that is not available for grazing. Therefore, its area must be subtracted, and all the rest is available for grazing. Question number 1. Find the total surface area of the largest sphere that can be inscribed in a hollow cylinder of radius 21 and height 30. So we have to fit in the largest sphere in these dimensions: radius 21, height 30. So let's see what that would look like. Say I have so let this be my cylinder. The radius of the cylinder is, of course, 30, or was it 30 or was it 21? I guess it was 21. The height was 30. Now, what most people try to do here is, clearly the height is more than the radius. What most people try to do is they seem to think that, you can fit a sphere like this. But that ain't happening. That's not going to happen. Why? Because for a sphere to sort of fit like this, fit the ends of the cylinder, it would need to have a dia equal to the dia of the cylinder. So this sphere would need to have a dia of 42 centimeters, which means this dia would need to be 42, which would of course mean that this sphere comes outside. If the height is only 30, how can a dia of 42 units fit inside the radius, fit inside the cylinder? This is not going to happen. So what is going to happen is that your limiting dimension here is the height. The height limits the dimensions in a way that means that the sphere that fits. So let's say this is the sphere. Yeah. So the sphere that fits will just have to fit in the height of 30, which means the dia of this sphere will have to be 2r, will have to be 30. The radius of the sphere, the maximum possible sphere, will have to be 15. And if the radius of the sphere is 15, it will of course fit the this dimension, because this total dimension is the dia of the cylinder 42, while this sphere only needs 30. Yeah. So the dimensions, so in terms of dimensions, you can calculate the total surface area or the volume, whatever the question wants you to ask. You'll get that only if you realize that the radius of the sphere has to fit in terms of the height. The height is the limiting parameter, and the radius therefore must be 15, because that will give you the diameter here to be 30. Now you can calculate whatever you want. This is question number 1. Is this clear, Vinay? Okay, cool. The other question you asked, question number 2. Find the total surface area of the largest sphere that can be inscribed in a hollow cone of radius 16 and height 12. So everybody who's listening, this is an important question. 1 and 2 are both important. Total surface area of the largest sphere, which essentially means you need to calculate the radius of the sphere, that can be inscribed in a hollow cone of radius 16 and height 12. Now again, helps to visualize. So let's say this is my cone. Yeah. Its height is given to be 12 and radius is given to be 16. So this is 12, and this is 16. So whichever sort of circle fits in here will fit in something like, fit in like this. And in all such questions, although this is a cone and a sphere, we're talking about a 3D figure. What you can assume rightly, you can take this as a triangle and an incircle, because the cone and the spheres are so symmetrical. Even if you rotate this combination, the sphere inside the cone, if you rotate it whatever way you want, each time the cross section will be, like the one given in this figure here, where you have sort of, this triangle of sides. This is the slant height, this as well as the slant height, and this, of course, at the bottom is the diameter of the cone. So there is absolutely nothing wrong with taking this to be a triangle. 12 and 16 are the height and radius respectively. The slant height will come out to be 20, Pythagorean triplet. So I have 20, 20, and 24. Yeah. So if I now want to calculate the in radius of the circle for the triangle, it will be equal to the radius of the sphere. The radius of the sphere is the in radius. The simplest way of doing this is radius, the in radius of the triangle into the semi-perimeter is equal to the area of the triangle. Yeah. And you can immediately calculate area because you already have the height. Height is 12. This perpendicular height is already given. You have it here, it is 12. You have the base 24. Area of the triangle has to be half into perpendicular 12 into 24 base. Semi-perimeter is, of course, half of the perimeter. The perimeter is 64. So the semi-perimeter is 32. That should give you in a jiffy this answer. The radius of the sphere, which is the radius of the incircle. Base will be 32 indeed. Yeah, sorry, made a mistake. It's not 24. Sorry, guys. Yeah. So yeah, I've got my calculations, my dimensions wrong here. This is 24, of course. Oh, sorry, this is 32. I don't know why I said 24. This is 32, guys, and so therefore the semi-perimeter also got it wrong. The semi-perimeter will therefore be 40 plus 32, 72 by 2, 36. Yeah. So I guess you can simply calculate. This is very simple. 6, 6, 4. The radius of the incircle and the radius of the sphere, both going to be 4 units. Is this clear? 4 centimeters essentially. Clear, guys? Okay, excellent. And where are those screenshots from, Vinay? That is the question. Where are those screenshots from? Whose questions are those? Or which test code as in? Shared. Okay, yeah. So why did you ask Rupen sir to give you the solutions if they are present? You should ask him for solutions, and he may have solutions or hints or the answer keys. Please do. And if not, let me check. Yeah. Just write to Rupen, mark me a copy as well. And I think Rupen should be in a position to provide some answer key or hints for those. Okay, guys. Okay then. Enjoy your Sunday. Bye. You're welcome. Okay, guys. Bye. Thank you very much. Take care. The link I had shared is a very, very relevant link, one of the documents I'd shared.